Good morning, welcome to Rance's channel. A bit of a short one today. On the Isle of Wight Heritage page on Facebook, which is a great little forum for history on the island, someone on the railway page as well also posted about a siding in just outside Shanklin. There's quite a few little sidings on the island that were private owner. On that side of the island, between Wight and Shanklin, which is where the siding was, there wasn't many sidings down that way really that weren't on railway land as such. So this was quite unusual. When I looked on the maps, there was and in quite a lot of the old railway photos, I mean the Isle of Wight railways have been photographed to death, so you can normally find evidence of something or other. And someone posted about this siding, about whether it was built or not, did it ever exist. In the photographs, it was quite funny because there is a hedge line, but it looked like that hedge line had been robbed out. And this siding didn't seem to appear on any maps after sort of 1920, so if it had been there, it hadn't been there for very long. So it was quite interesting to try and delve into this, and the only way really was to go in on foot and have a look. So just to show you where we're talking about. So here's our OS map. This is the old railway line here coming down. It's this tiny little square in here. It doesn't even show that there's a disused quarry here. This is a place called Apse, and you just see here this hedge line coming off here, which is the remains of the old siding, or even if there wasn't any earthworks, this definitely seemed to mark the boundary of the siding. However, in other consequent pictures like I'll show you, this hedge seemed to disappear, but it's not that at all. What it transpires is that the building and subsequent moving of the boundaries have made it look like this field here, which is quite large in a picture, has become quite small. Even though it's not a massively sort of built up area. So we know that the siding was recorded as Apse siding, and it was built by the Isle of Wight Railway quite early on, actually, as it transpires. 1886. Sorry, 1868. Sorry, dyslexic with numbers. And it was built by the Isle of Wight Railway. What was kind of unusual about the siding was, unlike the one at Apse, which was quite long and fed a chalk siding, chalk quarry, this wasn't actually built particularly well. It was only really meant as a tramway, I'm guessing, because locomotives were not permitted on it, which means that it was quite lightly built, which does make you wonder how they moved the wagons. I guess horse-drawn would probably be the answer. It also says, rather oddly, that any shunting couldn't be done when it was dark or bad weather onto the main line, which does sort of make you wonder as to how this was regulated or operated, because normally you'd need an annex key or whatever, and you'd be able to just operate and shunt as required. So it does sound rather odd that there was some kind of mainline point that wasn't maybe operated correctly, maybe. But the siding, when I look at maps, it disappears by 1900s. It's gone. I'll put some links on the video to some of the pictures and stuff, and you can see the siding we're talking about. Although it was lightly built, there was a set of points in there and seemed to have two roads. So it was fairly substantial enough, but not substantial enough to get a locomotive in, which seems kind of odd. And the earthworks, that didn't seem to appear on any sort of ordnance survey map or anything like that. the siding itself, when you walk down the footpath, it's a straight footpath, whereas there would have been some kind of curve going round into the siding. So obviously that's been eroded away by hedges or whatever, or bush growth. But when underfoot it is just mud. There's no sort of supporting structure, so it would have literally just been a tramway. Did find some evidence of stone that had been lying around, but obviously there wasn't much of it. That's why it was closed so early. It seemed to be like a kind of a ready stone. There is a big cliff face further away, but I'll just let you have a look at the video, and enough of me waffling on. Just a bit of history, just to say that we did check it out and it is there. Another thing I've got to check out this week is someone posted a picture of Whitwall Station, black and white picture, again on the forums. And what's weird is in the background you can see what looks like quite a large, substantial three-arch bridge. And this was in the 1950s, before the line closed. It was the last train that was coming through, in actual fact, that had been photographed. And there doesn't seem any record of any large three-arch bridge. So I'm thinking it's just an optical illusion of something on the horizon which looks bigger. But we're going to have to go and check that one out as well. So stay tuned. We look down here, we can see this is the track. It's actually a public, it's not public footpath, this bit, which is funny, but that leads straight off into there, which is kind of interesting. An old railway sleeper leaning up there. But yeah, I reckon that was it. Francis channel. Just looking at something that was posted on one of the Isle of Wight forums on Facebook about an old siding and whether it existed or not. It used to come off roughly where this flag is. There was a bomb that hit in the 1940s. It was a direct hit right there. Would have been a junction. That's where it would have been with the point work. So even that would have been blown out. There used to be a hedge in pictures running across this field, which has been completely obliterated, but followed the line of what would have been a siding, which would have come through roughly through here. It did show on a map 2 sidings, but it looks like it was taken out by 1900s at least. So we're just going to pick up and see where it went. There's a depression right in the bottom here, which sort of indicates roughly where it was. And the quarry is over there, or the remains of it. Can't have used very much, considering the line was sort of constructed 1864. I don't think it existed about 1870, but certainly it disappeared by 1900. I was wondering whether it actually existed or not, whether it's just plans only, but it did show 2 sidings on a map, so it looks like it definitely had it. So it sort of takes a course right through there. So we'll see how we get on. Just looking, and I thought maybe the hedge had been robbed away over the years, because it appears and then disappears. But when you actually look at the line coming off, there's nothing else that would have been flat enough for a railway to have run on. I mean, I know the field would have been ploughed in, but I'm actually wondering if that is the siding line coming up here. If you have a look, if you come above to look down upon the subject, there's a pathway going up through here. I don't think that was the railway line, the footpath, because it runs up the hill there into nowhere. I don't know, maybe it could have been. Maybe it could have been. Let's see how we get on. Just at the side of the quarry, it's quite a lovely view from up here. It's another walk to come back in another day's time. Nice little rocky outcrop up there. It's quite picturesque actually. It's Pembridge and Culver over there. I'm going to head down over here. So there's nothing of any sort of real existence. This footpath does follow down here, and it sort of makes sense that that would be the line the railway line would come up, because it's fairly straight. Whereas the depression in the middle here doesn't really seem to be any evidence of anything, no sort of real hump. This is the base of the quarry here. It was probably the extent of the sidings. There was 2 sidings laid in here, but I can't see any evidence of anything real earthworks in here. That they're probably just literally really basic tracks put down inside here. Grass is quite tall here, so I'm just being careful in case of any snakers.
Dead bodies.
Dead bodies, yeah. So you can see a formation of a flat coming up here, so I would imagine that's where the siding would have been, probably about here. But there's nothing here now to suggest there was anything here at all. This is the quarry. So no, there's nothing really obvious. So I think the line probably come up here and then literally come straight through where we are and up into there. There are 2 sidings laid, like I said, and I think that's probably where it would have come from, because this footpath then goes up over a ridge, which obviously the rail line wouldn't have done. Quite delicate little flowers there. Just looking back down this old trackway, I think this was the old siding. So I think this probably did just come straight through here and follow this footpath. I think this was probably the old route to the siding up into the quarry there. But like I said, it wasn't here for long. Pulled up by 1900. Thank you for watching.